Good morning, everyone, on this bright and cheery Monday morning, Tuesday morning. I'm not sure what day of the week I lose track of. This is Tuesday morning. I lose track of the days of the week. But that's what happens when you don't have kids at home telling you what day. But this particular video, yes, I am gonna go live. Um, to show you how I put some of these quilts together. I just have to find a time because I don't want to be overstepping all the other great um, channel creators out there, because there are some great ones, and I just don't want to go there. So more than likely my life is going to be at least at first when there's nobody around. So if I mess up, I don't. Anyway, but in my last video, I showed everybody that I did um, this eight-sided star, however you want to call it, and I just couldn't figure out what it was called. I knew it had to be there, so I got to researching eight-sided stars, eight-legged stars, and I found what it's actually called. It's called the Lemoyne star, and it also was called various other things, and now I think some people call it the lemon star. But any eight-sided star goes back to the Lemoyne star. And if you research what's the history of the Lemoyne star, there's a massive amounts of stories of where it came from, France, England, and it's quite interesting to if you think about in the early days before sewing machines, what people would piece together to make those beautiful quilts. And I think if a person could step back in time to watch those ladies, I mean, we see them in movies and such where they're all get together and they're all hand sewing. And, there might be 4, 5, 6 ladies, or it might be children learning from their parents. And I just think to step back in time to see one of these creations being made. But y'all seen this one, it was put together. Um, and as you can see, I did sew this one together. It is all together now, and this is the one that will be easy for a beginner if you follow certain things. And as many of you know, I've always said I don't want to do a pattern from instructions. So what I did, thought, okay, thousands of people are doing quilting, quilt, like quilt projects of the month. And I thought, you know what, I want to get involved in this, but I don't want to do a quilt that's the same, where every block is the same. And I wasn't really interested, up until I found what I found, in what is being called mystery blocks. Because I want to know what the quilt is, or an idea of what the quilt is, before I attempt at putting blocks. Because most of the mystery blocks are, you really don't even know what one block looks like, because you're only creating a section of it. And I wasn't interested in that. Then I happened to come across a website, and it is literally called aquiltinglife.com. And the same people are on YouTube. And the creator of that is, the lady's name is, you have to excuse me, I believe that says Sherry McConnell. And here's the funny part, never have I done, even when I was making clothing, I've never did anything from an actual pattern. So, don't have a cow, don't have, thing. I actually printed the patterns out. And she's doing, she produces a new quilt pattern each month. You could actually go and get last year's quilt blocks. Last year's quilt blocks were all the 8-legged stars. From January, February, it had some version of those 8-legged stars. And that's how I happened to find her. this year is quite different. She's using the eight-legged star, but in a different thing. But the block for January, and like I said, I printed these out, and this is the one for January. I don't know if you can see it. It is using the log cabin, and let me use this finger. In this is every block made for the next 12 months, January through December, will be all the log cabin, with the exception of, and the camera makes me look backwards, this very center, that's the only piece you're changing. And other than, doing the normal log cabin, it's actually quite interesting. And the first one is a house. And I actually created it and followed to some extent, I followed the directions. I've always had issues with the log cabin. It confuses me. But I actually created it. You believe that? I was like shocked, because it's got one particular one in there I don't care for, and that is the flying geese, which the roof, I don't know if I can, and yes, these are very big blocks, because the log cabin uses 2.5-inch width strips to create these, so these are big blocks, and there's only going to be 12 made, so they're big. Where I have this is the flying geese, and I tried to figure out how to make you see, but where I have on the outside of the roof, on the tip of that house, that's actually not white. There's a real, it's like a shell design in the fabric, and I was looking at what is wrong. I thought maybe, my eyes are goofy anyway most of the time. I thought, oh wow, there's a design in that fabric, and it made perfect for making these flying geese. And then if you go to her website or on YouTube, on her windows, where I have this yellow, hers are real light color. I wanted my windows to show, so I made them out of a gold color. But this is the block for January. And, for being never doing one of these so long, I think it looks pretty good. And I didn't mess it up, even though I had to think really hard how that log cabin goes together so it makes it look like it's supposed to. Then I also created, and I did both of these blocks today. And then I also created the one for February, which again, you're still using the same log cabin. All you're changing is the very center, which is this little square. Where in that square? That square right there. That's the only thing that changes in this block, is the very center square. And for February, it's the 8-legged star, kinda. And of course this one changes how what is looked at as the top, but you don't have to do it that way, where the top is darker, but that's what the 8-legged star looks like. And yes, I did create one. Mine looks like this, and I hate trying to focus on this camera. Where mine shows this white, it's actually a really light gray, and it has little white polka dots in it. But that's my version, and as most of you know, I like the scrappy. Well, that star in the center with those 5 colors, that's actually a fat quarter bundle. All those colors go together. if I can get you to see it. They all came together and they're kind of the colors are there, but it's kind of a smoky color. And these two blues, these two are actually a blue, but if you put them up against green, they take on a green, but they also came in another fat quarter bundle. And the green, I'm not sure what that green stuff is. It kind of reminds me of grass. It came in another fat quarter bundle that I put in. That green came with, if you look what that house is made from, really strange looking, that's what was in it. And the roses, you see the blue and the red roses? They came in a fat quarter bundle that had this red. The red rose, and then there's a blue rose. One that's blue, but I wanted that top of the house. It's a maroon color, but I think they turned out pretty good. Again, that website is aquiltinglife.com. She has got a tremendous channel and talks about her different blocks. I am going to go back and print off 2024's blocks because it's amazing what it looks like. And it's done with the same thing, all different variations of that 8-point star. I'm fascinated with stars because this is the first time I've been able to actually do a star. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's a blockage in my brain, which probably is the case. And when I create, because where is this one? This one here, which is the one for February, it's done with half square triangles and little squares. And if you notice, those half square triangles are also hourglass blocks. So this particular block would give a person experience at creating 4 at a time half square triangles, as well as creating these hourglass. Because I could have done these tip pieces in a different color, but I didn't want to. I wanted to try to keep similar to what the creator had in mind. The difference is she kept these two the same type of fabric and these two the same type of fabric. And I just didn't want to do that. And she suggested, when she's talking about this one, do it in 4 different colors. It's not going to hurt anything. And then this one piece here, because this was a fat quarter bundle I bought. It came with 5 colors, and I thought, perfect. The colors all go together. They match. The instructions are fairly, here's, especially with the house. See, here's the house. It comes in 3. It tells you all the cutouts. That part I didn't necessarily follow, but it does you, because but everything is really written well. Like, it shows you a perfect example of how to put that log cabin together. And then there's the house, and it shows, this thing is backwards. It shows this house, and she's got notes in here that say, like for the main part of the house where it shows it's green, that part is supposed to be all one color. And it actually says, designer's notes follow the block guide shown for fabric. And it tells you, like, B, C, and D, I mean, she's got them all numbered, are made from the same color fabric. And that's just because it's a house. And even though mine looks different, it is one piece of fabric. It's actually this right here, if I can get up and get it. This is a fabric I made from my house. Again, it came with the fat quarter bundle. That's what it looks like. It's got roses and I don't know. I think it's supposed to symbolize. It kind of reminds me of like a lattice. If you was to put up a lattice, and you'd have roses growing on it. I think it's beautiful. I mean, it would just to cut those apart like that, or put this in the center, or have this as the front of a quilt or the back would be beautiful. It's in a lot of ways, it is a panel, kind of, sort of, but I think it's a beautiful piece of fabric. And I like it. I just wish it would have included more of these type in the bundle. It didn't, though. It came with, this is the only one that looks like this. But again, you can go to aquiltinglife.com, or again, it's under the same thing on YouTube videos, and you can check her out. She's wonderful. But that's my idea of doing a monthly quilting thing, because I can still express my own colors or what I want to do, and yet I can pretty much guarantee what the whole quilt's going to look like, because the only thing that's changing is the center. And if someone wanted to, you don't even have to do the log cabin around those. You could just do, forget the log cabin part, and just do the center blocks. Or make an entire quilt with just these on it, and put some sashing around it, and that would look, oh, in fact, that would look really great. The other thing I was playing with, because I do my half square triangles, I make 4 at a time, and so I had leftover ones. It's like, so where is my little, I had some, and it's just a little thing, and now I can't find it. Oh, there it is. It's a tiny thing. I thought, and the other thing is, when you're making half square triangles, here's a little thing that I discovered today. It was quite funny. I thought, oh wow, look at that. When I had the half square triangles, and then I made this little thing. It's not, this is not sewed together, that's why I'm holding it. But if you do your half square triangles and you do them this way, which is actually done with 2 different half square triangles, and you sew them together, if you do 2 of the seams iron to the dark, and then the second time you sew it, if you sew it with the seams open, look what you get. There's a little four-patch right in the center here. It's a little tiny four-patch. I seen that today and I went, oh, look how cute that is. But what I was going to do with this, if I could put it back together like I had it, yeah, right. I always forget how I did it. Oh, like this. What I'm going to do with this, I thought, you know what, that's tiny enough. It would make a great... Sorry about that interruptions where one of my dogs wouldn't come in and he had to, she likes playing games. She goes outside and then he calls her and she won't come in. Anyway, what I was going to do is turn this whole thing into a magnet. Either I'm going to probably applique it together so it stays together like this, and just hand sew it together with a stitch around, because I want it to not look like it was sewed machined, done on a sewing machine. So I will hand quilt it, maybe, and then I'm going to put a backing on it. And what I'm going to do with the backing, after, I'm not going to seal it shut. I'll leave it folded over, and on the back put like a pocket, so it will be, I'll turn it inside itself, and then put cotton balls in it. and then you could drop. You do have to have cotton balls. They're the only ones that'll work. And then when you can put lavender essential oil or any other kind of essential oil on the cotton balls, and this becomes a sachet, or a sachet, I believe is what it's called. It smells. It'll produce uh, smell, fragrance. The only thing you do is when you use cotton balls, you do have to change them because they get hard. Um, or you can put the cotton balls in a little baggie because they will get hard and they'll start sticking to things, but they won't stick to plastic, but they will stick to material. So put a if you're gonna I'm gonna put a little bag in there, um, so it doesn't stick to the material, so I can just change the little bag out. And then this would also work good as just a refrigerator magnet, just something fun. Or you could, it would also work good for um, a baby's toy. You just kind of stuff it, or you don't even have to stuff it. You can use felt um, and just make it like a miniature tiny blanket. And then I was thinking earlier, you put a bunch of those little uh, tiny half square triangles together, and for of course I'm not sure there's kids that play with dolls and stuff, or um, a little uh, a little blanket for their baby, um, or it would look cool in, like, if you do it and put it in a picture frame. The other thing I thought this would look really cool is, like, if you do the quilted greeting cards and make a little sachet out of this and send that with the card. Just something simple, just to say, tell somebody thank you, you appreciate them, or it would make a great gift for somebody. It would also make, this is a real simple one for somebody beginning to make those half square triangles, and this one, and I just kept making them smaller and smaller. I don't want to go any smaller than this one. This one was, no, that's the smallest I want to go. Um, but it's for those having issues with doing half square triangles. All I do is, those were done from 5-inch pieces I just cut. You sew them together and you sew all the way around the outside. There's no uh, uh, making the line halfway and a half inch on each side. You sew all the way around and cut it in half twice. Let me see if I have a square so I can show you. I don't know if I have any left. I know I do, but where are they? I don't. I used them all, but I can show you with fabric. Just, oh, I don't have any. I just have all these. Hey, oh, there they are. There's some. That works perfect. Okay, here's a green one. Let's pretend that this green is two different colors. Let me get two of these squares. You're just gonna go right sides together, and again, these would be, let me get, because I don't want to confuse anybody. I know I've got squares in here. Or, aha, there they are. There's, see my roses. They're a little smaller. Good enough. Alright. Alright. We have two different pieces. And they do kind of go together. One is the roses. And you're going to put right sides together. Line them up. Right sides together. You can pin these. I don't generally pin. It's just not, I just don't like the pins. And you're going to sew a 1/2 inch seam along here, turn it along here, and usually when I'm doing this, I don't pivot. I sew all the way off and then readjust it, but all 4 sides. And then you have it stuck together. When you go to cut your half square triangles, you're going to take your ruler, put the top of the ruler at this point, and put the other side at this point, and then you're going to cut here. Try to be real careful and keep that together, and then you just turn it, and then you do the same thing. You put your ruler here, and I got a string on my finger, and go down to here, and then you cut it, and what you'll get is 4 half square triangles. If you also have to be aware when you do that, if you're needing, because this makes small, tiny half square triangles. So if you're needing bigger half square triangles from creating 4, you just use a bigger square. Like use a 10-inch square instead of the little 5-inch. I just like the little triangles. I think they're cute. I don't like messing with the big ones. However, I don't know if anybody ever notices, but the smaller the half square triangle, the harder it is to hide your boo-boos. Like these little ones, if this was in a quilt and it was a big one, you literally wouldn't see that those 2 points don't come together. And as they get bigger, you see it less. But the little ones, they're identical. They're identical. They were cut identical. But on the little one, which is this one over here, you see the boo-boo or whatever it is. And no, I'm not taking it apart to fix it. Compared to here, you don't see it as well. Here, let me, these little things are little. See, you could see it, my fingers are in the way, sorry. My fingernail polish came out that one. Oh, that's alright. But you could see, but the smaller they are, the easier it is to see the boo-boos. However, like on this one, I was showing you the 4 patch. You could see it really well on this one. There's, right there in the center, there's that little tiny 4 patch. It's kind of cool. It's like, that's cool. Just little things you can create with them. And again, it makes a, hourglass. Which in hourglass, there's various ways of creating an hourglass. I just had fun playing with the leftover half square triangles because I don't like throwing scraps away. Now I'm getting scraps back again. But I will let everybody go for now, and I truly hope you all check out that block of the month. It's really great. And I want to thank all of the channel creators. William from, I can never remember the name. William, you're hilarious. You have such an excitement, and it's guaranteed everybody's gonna walk away laughing because you just never know what he's gonna do. And Jess, you're wonderful. Mona, Deb, there's a massive amount of Sean. Sean's the one that lives in Australia. He's the only one I remember where they live. Oh, of course, William lives in California, I think. I think North Carolina. I don't remember their channel names. I'm sorry. But they all have different times they go on, and they're just all amazing. It's the most amazing community I've ever been a part of. And I thank you all for welcoming me in, and I've learned so much from you. So again, remember everybody, be kind, and be kind to others, and the kindness will follow you. Thank you. Bye-bye.